Victor,
Duffy.
you know what you did last week? You stole 8 hours from me.
What?
Because you recommended in the last episode, you recommended the app Play.
Oh.
And for 8 hours in the last 3 days, I'm renaming random contacts I had, and I have now a list of 5,000 cleaned up contacts.
5,000?
Yes, thank you.
Jesus.
But it was so much time of my life.
Well, maybe there's some benefit out of this, or was it like...
You know, like the biggest problem with this app is, so now I have everything cleaned up in the app. How do I get it out?
You know, I hated that too about it. I was hoping that whatever you change in there, it would write back into like the Apple contacts, Google contacts. It doesn't do that. Now you're forced to use that app forever because you spent all the time doing the work, right?
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I think you didn't research your recommendation, and I hope today we have a better recommendation in the wows at the end of the episode.
I have a very simple one that's hopefully not going to rob 8 hours of you.
Wow.
Wow Happens with Stephanie Hutchins and Victor Kumzik.
Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Wow Happens, where we're talking about insecurities in front of the camera, both from the point of view of an expert and that of a student. And we're breaking down this topic into 3 main parts. First, about imposter syndrome. That is, if you think like, ooh, who am I? What authority do I have to talk about a certain topic? And once you get past this, you're going to be faced with the second challenge, which is how do I come across credible in front of the camera at the level of expertise that I want to talk about? And lastly, we're going to talk about something that I find very interesting. That is, if you're thinking of picking a topic, maybe you think, hey, this has been discussed to death already. Who am I, or why should people listen to what I have to say about something that so many people have already talked about? And we actually faced with these challenges in every episode as well, because we didn't really overcome it, but we learn how to live with it. Right, Steffi?
Absolutely, Victor. And I'm feeling imposter so extremely right now. Wow. So like you said it, right? On your channel, you take more like the student role, and I'm like when I do something in a video, I'm taking more like the expert role. And yeah, imposter is a real thing for me.
Yeah. And I mean, even if you say like for the YouTube channel that I have, when I take the student role, right, you may think initially, hey, but if you like take more of a persona that is learning about something and sharing that learning path, why would you have an imposter syndrome? You still have it, because no matter what I say, I feel like, am I even allowed to say this? Like this, can I even say this is good or this is bad? Like what authority do I have, right?
Yeah. And I think like this is actually very identical to the expert role. Like you need to figure out a system, or I needed to figure out a system so that I can still operate. Because like I'm thinking all the time, hey, what am I actually doing here? And then I think it's like, for me, there are 2 things. Is there something like I can build up my expertise up on? So like, did I do already something? And I heard like some weeks ago or some month ago, I heard someone saying, hey, like, yeah, if you feel insecure about what you're doing, then you haven't done it often enough. So like he said that, yeah, if you have like 30 repetitions of something, you feel the first time confident about something. And to feel really, really confident, you need basically almost 100 repetitions of the same thing.
So we need 83 more episodes of our podcast.
Plus the dark episodes we are now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. 73 or 70 more episodes, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then we feel confident about it just because we did it. But I think for me, it's like all about how can I trick my brain? Because it's not about like what really is going on. And if I know something, it's like my brain tells me I don't know what I'm doing. And I guess this is not going away in this life. Maybe next life, who knows? And the question is more like, how do I handle this? And how do I prime myself so that I function anyway? And sometimes for me, it's fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
Like, yeah, it's a terrible sentence and proven wrong, right? Like the famous TED Talk is completely bullshit, presumably. But still, sometimes it works for me. But there are also other things that work for me. So, like, yeah, the repetition I said already, but also, like, I need to trick my brain into a commitment that I managed to reach. And if I set my commitment too high, then internally I know that this is bullshit.
You have like an example for that?
I wanted to record 1.5 hour long videos.
Ooh.
Yeah.
90 minutes.
90 minutes. And I thought this is the best thing I need to do. And how many of these minutes are published by now?
0? Yeah.
0. And then on the other hand, I some years ago, when I started actually to publish videos with myself, like these videos were like short, 90 seconds. And I managed to do 30 of these. And I published them all. 28 or something like this. But I basically published most of them. And this was a commitment I managed. And then is also, like, it was within reach, but it was also that it didn't feel fake.
Yeah, you set yourself like a level of commitment, like you said, that feels real to you. Like you're not sort of like, not overpromising is the wrong word, but you're not faking it, right? You're genuine about what you say, right?
And another thing that actually almost always works is a stupid deadline. And especially a deadline where other people are involved, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, for client work, that's especially prominent. But yeah, at least, well, there we're not in front of the camera. But I have this too, right? Depending on the amount of free time that I have, the pacing or the frequency of how often I publish on my YouTube channel changed, and right now it's about that 1 video per month. I'm a very slow YouTube video creator. But still, at the end of the month or when the time comes when I want to publish, I actually really, I have a personal desire to keep within that schedule. Nobody's ever sort of said, hey, where's the video, right? But I feel like I disappoint people if I don't publish, right? Because they're usually happy when I upload something, oh yeah, there's a new video there and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, somebody was waiting for this, good. Thank you. But yeah, like I said before, in my videos, I take sort of more of a student persona. And because I am, trying out or learning about, computer peripherals or certain things, like for example, when I built my custom NAS, right? And then I used TrueNAS, which is like an open source NAS operating system. And I basically went through the steps that it took me to set this up, right? And so I'm not an expert saying like, hey, this is how you do it, but I'm more like saying, hey, this is how I did it. And I chose this format, right at the beginning of when I started my channel, because I was so insecure about what to talk about that I was like, I cannot be an expert because I am not an expert. But I want to share my opinion or my experience with certain things because I thought, I wanted to do that, right? And so it's still difficult, even if you take like the student persona. And one thing that I started doing, especially with the advent of all these AI tools, is that once I finish my script, right, I just paste everything into like Gemini or now Claude and say, like, hey, can you fact check this? Can you tell me if anything is wrong? And sometimes it comes up with certain things, and sometimes it's also wrong. You always have to be a little bit careful with the AI analyzations and whatnot. But it gives me sort of a little bit of a insurance that I'm not completely off the rails with what I'm saying, And there's little things like this you can do just to make yourself feel a little bit easier about what you're talking about.
And so it's you're not using AI for like writing your scripts.
Oh, not at all.
No, you use your own words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that also helps.
Yeah. I mean, what I sometimes, like when I paste my script into Claude or Gemini or whatever, it does tell me to write things differently. But whenever I read what it suggests me, I'm like, this does not sound like me. This is something weird. And I don't like the way that it sounds. So I just ignore that. I'm like, hey, I didn't ask for this. I just check the facts, right? Don't check how I wrote it. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm very convoluted and take forever to say something like right now. But I like it more the way that it is written, when I write it.
I think in general, you could AI feed your old transcripts and say, write a script exactly like
I've asked it to do that.
Oh,
But it doesn't like. It's
but
like sure, yeah.
No, you can say, but my point is actually more like I think the process of writing the script is needed to make it feel real for yourself. That's at least my experience.
Yeah.
If I take, let's say, like 50% of like AI scripted and 50% I corrected and made it my own, doesn't really feel right.
Yeah.
But I still can, like for me personally, I still can use AI for a bit of research and then like, okay, and now like also some words that I can use or some sentences that I can use, but then I need to make it my own. And I need to find my own flow through the script.
Your own voice.
My own voice. And it's also then part of this whole process for me that I actually can accept what I said.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it feels so fake to myself.
Yeah.
Coming back to your experience as a student archetype of creator. Are you feeling embarrassed?
No, I love it. Like, I'm not really a person that likes to be, like, hey, listen to like my expertise or whatnot. I like a little bit of self-deprecating humor and all that stuff. And something I appreciate enormously about my YouTube subscribership, if I want to call it that, is that they're smarter than me, right? And whenever I post something, they usually teach me stuff. And I love that. Like the latest video, which I uploaded last weekend, it was another one where I was a little bit afraid of what I said because I was like, am I correct with what I'm saying? And the initial comments were all suggestions on how to sort of improve not like the video, but they loved the video, which I'm very grateful for. But it's like, hey, if you want to get even better at this, have you tried this or have you tried that method and whatnot? And I'm like reading the comments and I'm so happy because I'm like, wow, this is stuff that, like, just as an example, like I made a video about a split ergonomic keyboard, right? And when I usually search for something to review on my channel, I obviously use Google, ChatGPT or Gemini, and I never came across like the first 3 comments recommended me a board which I've never heard of. Like I was like, how did this never pop up in my search list, right? And I love this. Like this is a personal recommendation from my audience. It's fantastic. So no, I don't feel embarrassed at all. I'm very grateful for them teaching me.
I think as an expert, you are more in a teacher role, and like if someone says, hey, I have a different experience, or hey, I'm like, this doesn't work for me, or maybe even that is wrong, which never happened to me that someone said it so clearly, but like if something like this happens, this is also not the fact like that makes it feel embarrassing to me. Like it's like for me, it's more like part of this imposter experience is that I feel embarrassed about, I don't know, like how I look, how I sound, like the usuals, right?
Yeah.
Like, and a little bit depending on the day, I managed to overcome this, and sometimes it's like, what am I doing here?
I've re-recorded entire like 2-hour scripts because it didn't feel right. And it's the same script. It was just a different performance of a different day, right? I think that actually leads really nicely into the second part, right? The credibility on camera, which is like, even if you overcome this imposter syndrome, if I take like the student example, right? You might feel that you want to have more energy or sort of like captivate the audience more in front of the camera. So you play sort of a role, right? And with that, you can actually come across very inauthentic or even arrogant because you talk in a certain way, right? And it's a very sort of dangerous thing. And I think it's especially dangerous if you're in that expert role, right? Like, so how, for example, how do you deal with this?
For me, there are two things to it. Number one is, hey, I need to give examples from my own experience. Like, demonstrate, don't tell. If I only say, oh yeah, like, I don't know, as a company, you need to do X, Y, and Z, then I'm like a little bit like, yeah, not so nice, and it's also very abstract. But if I then tell how it actually was for me, I think then I'm coming already down from it, because then I'm also showing, hey, I'm relatable, or my experience is relatable. And with this, you get closer to this, that you are not arrogant. And the other thing is, like, but this is a bit more my personality, is, break the fourth wall, right? Like, break the whatever you are saying, and then break onto the meta level, or start addressing the camera very weirdly in the middle of a podcast conversation. Like, whatever you do, like, you need to get out of your, like, the process you are in. You need to get out of that, and you need to break out, and you need to make something funny, or something sad, or something personal, or something special. And also an expert, like a good expert, can tell from their experience what they have actually lived through.
I think you mentioned it just briefly before, but it's also to reveal like your personal journey, which also shows flaws. And I think that's sort of something that you have in every medium for storytelling. Like, now we're talking about maybe podcasts format, or like when you talk in front of the camera for a YouTube video, but it's still like a character. You're a character in a story, right? And when we think about movies or books, we don't really like the characters that are like perfect. You know, there's the term Mary Sue or Mary Stu, which is like the flawless character who just overcomes any challenge. Like, I don't care if that character wins, because like, there's no struggle, you know. With no struggle, there's no drama. With no drama, there's no release. There's no resolution, right? And it makes it boring, and you don't want that, right?
And I think this drama is also needed to show that you really have lived through this.
Yes, exactly.
Because otherwise, like, we all know there's always drama. And what? You didn't have drama?
Oh, there's a lot of drama. For example, F1 being nominated for the Oscars.
Yes. I want to, like, there's also a different perspective to this question. And, like, how can you say something credible on camera is also you take away moving parts. So what do I mean with this? Like, when I started, like, actually publishing videos, I had a very funny process. And my process was that I watched like 3-4 of the YouTube creators at the time I really liked. And I anyway watched every video of them. And I wrote down the structure. So like, not some, like, I tried to abstract it from the topic they are talking about right now. I tried it more like to put it more on a general level, like, I don't know, like hook, and then expose, then this and this and this. But sometimes I also couldn't do this, and I remember it was like one of the channels was How Money Works, and it's like,
I know that channel. It's been a while since I've seen a video of them, but I remember the channel, yeah.
And I didn't manage to completely abstract it, and I said, okay, then comes this, then comes this, then comes this, and I basically had like let's say 10 to 15 points that I don't even know his name. Like how he went through the video. And I also figured out, okay, the next video has different points. It's not always the same. But I decided for myself, okay, I'm creating one structure for me. Like, and I just wanna, like, I will do a short video. I define my format, right? A short video, I look straight to the camera. I want to do like 90 seconds. 90 seconds means like something like 250 words. There isn't more space for content. And then I said, okay, I have the opening question, then the wrong answer, then the first option, the second option, the third option, and then the actual answer. And with this, I managed to remove so many things that I actually managed to write my script. And when I managed to write my script, then I can practice how to how to do it in front of the camera. And so I did step by step by step, and each of these steps was like had a deadline.
Yeah.
Like, and then so I also tried to overcome my imposter syndrome, and I've also found something that I can perform incredibly on camera.
When you said at the beginning, removing all the moving parts, right? I wasn't quite sure what you meant, but yeah, I get it. Like well, quite literally, all the uncertainties, everything that could hinder you at making that statement or like communicating that message, you sort of remove preemptively. So you only have the message in the end.
Exactly. And we both know this from this experience here. Hello, Bimi. Hello, Ciao. This is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It has so many different things that needs to move and fit together. And video is not simple. Like, basically, if you want to write a blog post or a social media post, you only have this one piece, and video is so much more. And if you try to do everything at the same time, you will fail.
Yeah. One battle after another is how they say, Steffi, right? One
Yes.
battle after another. It's not only a great movie that's also nominated for the Oscars, but it's also a great way of life.
Let me segue into the next question. Is my experience actually still valuable? Victor, what do you think as a student archetype creator?
Amazing. I'm never going to get used to this terminology that you just used.
Yes, me neither.
Like, obviously I had this too when I like made my channel, is that like, why should I talk about this? You know, my first video was about the Xbox Series X, right? And then it was just around the time when it came out, and I knew exactly. I was like, everybody already reviewed this like 2 months ago when it actually came out, or 3 months ago, right? Why does anybody care what I have to say? Maybe, just maybe, somebody likes my point of view on this, you know? And there is always a unique perspective because we're all different. We all live in different countries and we grew up in different cultures, right? And that can shape your opinion, and it's interesting to sort of convey that. And for example, in my channel, something that I hit very, very intentionally at the beginning was that I was from Switzerland. I didn't say this at all, right? I didn't go into this, and people didn't notice. The only question that sometimes they would say is that, where are you from? Because your upload times are like at 3 a.m. for me. Because the channel is in English, and like over half of the audience, I think over a third of the audience is from the US, and then it's like Canada and Australia. So English-speaking countries, right? And over the course of the last 5 years, I sort of started to trickle a little bit of Swissness into my videos, right?
I think the first Swissness you showed was actually a Swiss plug. Can that be?
Could be, yes.
Power plug. Yeah.
And I noticed that people liked that because they were like, oh, this guy is Swiss. This is unusual. I want to learn more about this. And so I started to incorporate this more and more in my videos. Because there's very few Swiss tech YouTubers, it gave sort of a unique perspective on things, you know? And that's something you have to like look at what you have. Everybody has something unique about themselves, right? and use that to your advantage. Yes, you will talk about, it's impossible that you will talk about something for the first time these days. Look at the internet, everything has been talked about already.
Yeah.
But you have unique little factors just going to make your voice a little bit different, and that's what you should focus on.
I really think this image of this one world-class expert is completely outdated.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist on the internet because there are too many, and everyone has their own audience, their own people, and you just need to grow them.
Yeah, and it's the beauty of the world that we live in right now, right? With YouTube, you have your audience exists somewhere, right? It's like, because you have the reach you have these days is insane. You basically, of course, it depends on the language that you're communicating in, but
of course,
if you communicate in English, you have half of the, no, it's probably not half the,
yeah,
it's a large amount of people
half,
that you basically can target if you want to build. And in that huge pool, there's a good chance there's going to be a few that like what you say or how you say it, or they just like you. Right?
Exactly. And for them, you are the guide, independently if you are the expert
or the
student.
Yeah. It's a beautiful way to end it.
Victor, do you have a wow?
Yes, and it'll use 16 hours of your life over the weekend.
Oh, thanks.
Don't worry. It's actually something that initially I was also thinking, like, who needs this? This is useless. And it's a dark mode extension for Safari, right? Where you think like, okay, why do I need this, right?
Or why do you use Safari?
That's a different thing. I switched like a couple of months ago, and I'm actually really happy with it. And one reason for it is that the extensions are all really nice. And this Noir extension, which costs money, believe it or not, will simply turn websites that don't have a dark mode, like add a dark mode. But it adds a really, really nice one. Like, I don't know what kind of magic trickery that they use, but it's way nicer than some of the built-in dark modes that some websites have. Like, it breaks the CI/CD, I suppose, which the companies probably don't like, but it's so much easier to read it. If you are like using Safari and you hate it if the bright screen sort of blasts in your face at night, Noir is the extension, and it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. What's your wow of this week?
Castro. My wow is Castro. Castro is a podcast player, and yes, you still need podcast players. What is special about it is that it follows this inbox and shortlist system. So all your subscriptions of all the podcasts that are published come to an inbox, and you just do first want to listen to, want not to listen to.
Oh.
Want to listen, don't want to listen.
So it's like Tinder.
Without the swiping.
Oh.
And then, like, only the ones that you want to listen to are in your inbox. In your shortlist. And then you only have like 4 episodes to listen to instead of 70. And then, of course, it has all the, how do we say in this podcast, blows and whistles.
No, it's bells and whistles.
I know. It has all the bells and whistles that it can trim, like silence. It can 0.1 increments of speeding up. It's amazing. I love it.
Right.
Oh, it can also do these settings per episode. So if you have like a podcast, because it's maybe in a different language that you need to have slower, you do that.
All right, cool. Castro.
All
right.
And I think with this, we are at the end of the episode.
Yes.
Thank you very much for staying with us. I think this was a great example where Victor says he is a student, but actually he is the expert. And I say I'm the expert, and I felt more like a student.
No.
And with this, we see each other next week.
Thank you for watching. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This podcast is produced by a crew. Our director of photography is Abim Bolan Undangunchu. Edited by Helena Insinger. Animation by Mamoon Brahma. Intro sound by Jonas Benfio. Marketing by Emilia Geisel. Post-production supervision by Christian Kutschan. Produced by Viktor Künzig. And your hosts, Viktor Künzig and me, Stefanie Hettjens.